Lisa here, conscious relationship coach plus healer, specifically for mums. And we're going to be diving into a really big topic today. So I'm going to share some bits and pieces that's coming through, and I'm really hoping that it's going to land for you. And I'm hoping and I'm setting the intention that you're going to receive the wisdom that you need in this time of your life, in your current phase of your relationship, to take it to the next level. And I truly believe that you could be married to the same person for 10 years and you can transform it, okay? It's never too late to work on this, okay? So, haven't been live for a while, so feel free to say hello in the comments. Let me connect with you. Let me know if you're watching the replay. And I'm going to do my best to not get distracted so I can try to keep this as short as possible. So today's a very big topic, and I do have a couple of okay, I'm going to try and ignore the people that I need to block for the spamming people. Okay, apologies, I'll get used to it. So today's topic is going to be all about the old way of relating, the old way that we did relationships, the old way we did marriages, and the new paradigm, the new way of relating, okay? And it's the way I see this is, and you're never too late. Like, I learned this when I was already a mum. I learned this at the age of 30. Like, you were never too late. And it's kind of like everything in life. Even the way, my kids go to school, the way they're getting taught in school is very different to how I got taught in school. And I truly believe that that's the way that basically we live. We revolve, we grow, we learn to do things better, we do better. And therefore the outcome or the results is always much better than what we led to believe. So I grew up, and I love my parents dearly. They're still together. However, my perception of their marriage is it's a loveless marriage. I grew up, and only with my awareness now and through this journey for the last couple of years, it was a very toxic, unhealthy relationship that was passed down to me. And then no wonder why I was in and out of toxic relationships, toxic relationship after another, just all different forms of relationships that just made me feel like absolutely shit. And I'm not going to go into the details of all these relationships. And I started healing how I wanted to relate. I started diving into conscious relationship after becoming a single mum to my daughter. And I left that relationship after 10 years. So I was with him for 10 years. And afterwards, I was just like, I don't want the same relationship as my parents. And call it God intervention, universe intervention. I was led down the path of studying this. And it's been a passion of mine, okay? And I do have a couple of notes here because, as you know, I riffed a lot. So the old way of, the old paradigm, the old way of relating is very much on, especially if you're married, you get married or you have kids, and then it's kind of like, okay, I've achieved that. I don't need to prioritize my relationship. I don't need to prioritize my man. I don't need to do any of that. I've achieved it. So therefore you kind of like forget about the relationship. You forget about the connection piece. You forget about the relating piece. You forget about the love piece. And it's just like you start to go through your days. It's just like you start to have that stale conversations. Conversations end up just being about work, about kids, bills, finances, like really boring. And then you wonder why the passion disappears. And then, a lot of my clients will come to me feeling very lonely. They're feeling unloved. There's no connection. And then they start to create all these stories of not feeling worthy. My husband starts cheating on me. In some cases, I have had a client that's come to me wanting to heal after their spouse was unfaithful. Okay. And I'm not going to go into the whole nits and bits. If you want to go into deeper, reach out to me about working with me one-on-one. But getting back to today, like that was a very much of an old paradigm way of doing relationships, okay? And it's all about there was no priority, basically. It was just like a forgotten thing. But let me know if any of these statements sound familiar to you. They're either things that I've said or I've heard clients say. Okay. So when I was single, it was very much, you're not complete until you find your soulmate. So therefore I was constantly entering relationships from a place of, I need commitment, otherwise there's something missing. It's not about you anymore. It's all about compromise and sacrifice. I remember when I first had my daughter, one of the very first comments my mum made to me was, it's no longer about me. It's all about the children now. That's just what parents do. And it's kind of like that expectation. And I've had clients cry to me on the phone when I'm getting them to connect with themselves and when I'm getting them to feel in, and guess like it's guide them into an embodiment practice, and they start crying because they've just neglected them for so long. Ever since they had kids, it's kind of like, well, now we've got kids, we're just parents, we're nothing else. And they just forget about themselves. And then they wonder why they feel lonely, not worthy, not seen. There's lack of intimacy, there's lack of passion, there's lack of connection. Your relationship will never work if you're not in love. I'm going to dive a bit deeper into this one in why we need to separate relating with love. Okay, and I saw someone post on social media a couple of days ago, and it stuck in my head because it really sums up everything. And I can't even remember who posted it, so I can't quote them, but she basically said, it's easier to like your husband than it is to love them. Okay, and just let that land. In the way I look at it is, it's really hard to love them. Like even my kids, like yes, I love them, but sometimes they do things that make you just want to pull your head out. You just want to scream, and you get so frustrated because they do so many, annoying things. And it's the same with our partners. Like when you're with them all the time, you live together, you're probably raising a family together, you've got fun, you've got all these stresses happening in your life, and they can do things that irritate you. But it's easier to look at the things that you can appreciate. What have they done today that you can appreciate? So we'll go into a bit about that, why love and relating is actually separate. This is a really big one, and I get so passionate about this topic. Sometimes it's better to say nothing to avoid the conflict. So I had this client, I used to get so frustrated. They wouldn't ever speak up. They had no boundaries. They wouldn't ask their partner for anything. They would never voice how they feel about anything because they hated conflict so much. And guess what? That void or that suppressing, pushing it down, avoiding things for conflict builds resentment. So yeah, you might not be having conflict today, but you're definitely building all this dense energy and resentment in your body, and it has to come out eventually. This is where I see a lot of fights happening in relationships, because eventually you're projecting all that resentment onto your partner. And it's kind of like walking on eggshells. Do you ever feel like you're walking on eggshells? Normally that comes from someone, either you or your partner, is suppressing how they're feeling because they're trying to avoid conflict. So it's kind of like they've got all this built-up frustration, and you can energetically feel that, and you just know that one small thing can be like the iceberg, tipping of the iceberg, and they just get so cranky and frustrated, and it turns into this argument and this fight. And then when you reflect, I'm like, oh my God, that is the stupidest thing. It's over the smallest thing. It is because you've got unresolved emotional baggage, I like to call, and a lot of the times, like 90% of the time, it's because you're trying to avoid conflict, okay? And then lastly, you have to do whatever it takes to save the relationship for the kids, okay? So let me know if any of those in the comments, if they resonate. And just lastly on that one, I think the best thing you can do for your relationship, and even now, I'm a firm believer that I think my parents should have gotten a divorce. I love them both equally. They're amazing humans, but it's not a healthy relationship, and that has had a ripple-on effect for me. Okay, but we're not going to go into that, because I do believe in, if you want to stay together, you can transform it. You can change it. You can create the shifts that you need. And that's what we're talking about, or I'll be talking about over these next few days, okay? And I do want to lastly, it's not about the kids. It needs to be about you. And this is what the new paradigm is all about, is bringing it back to you. Bringing it back to your alignment, who you are being. Bringing it back to love. Okay, so the new way of paradigm is not doing any of those things. It is having the boundaries. It's having the conversations. Okay, it's knowing that you need to take responsibility for the relationship that you are creating. There is no right or wrong, just communication. Okay, so as I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of the old paradigm relating is basically neglecting your relationship. Okay, and I want to invite you to see this new paradigm of relating, which is prioritizing yourself, putting yourself above your partner, putting yourself above your relationship. And the reason why I say this is because your relationship is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. A lot of the times what you're searching for and wanting from your partner is something that you're not giving to yourself. Okay, it's not your partner's job to make you feel good, to validate you. It is not your partner didn't choose, and this is something I really want to land for you, okay? You and your partner chose to be together, okay? So we need to remind ourselves why you chose to be in this relationship. They didn't sign up to get another mother, and they didn't sign up to get a roommate. They didn't sign up to be someone's therapist. Obviously, we would like to be in relationships where our parents, our partners listen to us and support us. Like, absolutely. But they can't do that if you're not also showing up for yourself. You need to create safety in the relationship, and that starts with you prioritizing yourself. And what I mean by this is, what is your connection to yourself? How are you regulating your nervous system? Which we will be talking about over the next couple of days. So if you don't know about regulating your nervous system and the impact it has on your relationship, definitely stay tuned to day 3. But for now, just tune in. What is your connection to yourself? What is your self-love like? How are you showing up in your relationship? And a lot of the times, the reason why there's stagnation in a relationship is because you're feeling off. You haven't centered and grounded yourself. You're not feeling alive. You're not feeling lit. And it's not your partner's job to make you feel that way. Okay? So you need to learn to stop prioritizing him, the relationship, the kids, and just tune in. And this could be just 5 minutes. So for instance, we've got 5 kids. Work, there's a lot of moving pieces. My partner's in surgery today. Like, there's a lot going on. Okay, so you don't need to be prioritizing, days or hours. I literally just spend 30 minutes to an hour every night before I go to sleep doing something. Either that's regulating my nervous system, doing some energy healing, doing a meditation to disconnect with myself, tuning in how I'm feeling. And I'll go into different practices that I'll recommend on day 3. So today's Wednesday, so on Friday. But I just want you to reflect on, when was the last time you've connected with yourself? Okay, so first is prioritizing yourself, and then you prioritize not your relationship, but you prioritize your partner. And this is something that we don't do. We don't prioritize our partner. We just expect it's their responsibility to look after themselves. I'm going to look after me, I'll look after the kids, and they can just do themselves. But when was the last time you've appreciated them? I don't like the word worship, which I see a lot on social media, because that makes it look like you put them on a pedestal and you bow down to their feet, and I just don't like the energy of that. I don't like the vibe of that. But I do understand the intention and the meaning, and that's all about showing appreciation, expressing yourself to them, allowing yourself to allow love to move through you, and to have the confidence to express that to your partner. But also, we need to also understand that our partner's got needs. Are we listening to their needs? Are we respecting and honoring what their needs are? We can't get angry at them if our needs aren't getting met, if we choose to not even acknowledge what our partner needs as well, okay? So 1 is prioritizing yourself, 2 is then prioritizing your partner. And the way I like to see this is because a healthy relationship, a long-term, lasting, passionate relationship full of love and connection is when 2 whole people are coming together. 2 separate people are consciously choosing to relate. They are constantly, consciously choosing the relationship. Does your partner need to be in this? No. And I can go into deep with that if you work with me one-on-one. My partner's not in the personal development space. My partner is someone that, would probably never ever get relationship coaching, therapy, nothing. But I have transformed the relationship because I'm focusing on my knowledge and I'm prioritizing myself and I'm prioritizing appreciating him and putting him above our relationship, okay? And then lastly, we prioritize our relationship, okay? And that is at the bottom for a reason, because you need the 2 people to create a relationship, okay? And then the relationship is formed, and then you're looking at, what does our relationship need? How am I showing up in this relationship? Have I neglected the relationship? When was the last time I even put energy on it? So often we can get stuck in the day-to-day demands of life. It could be weeks before you've even acknowledged that, oh my God, there's been no fresh energy in my relationship. And then you need to go back to prioritizing yourself or your partner. Maybe, you might be at a phase in life where you can go on date nights. We're currently not really at that stage where we can have regular date nights. Maybe it's things that you can be doing at home. Maybe you need to start having conversation outside the kids. When was the last time you laughed together, played together, have fun? Okay, so the new way of paradigm is all about separating love and relating. Allowing love to flow through you and choosing to relate from that place. Love is an energy. Relating is the physical way you come together with your partner. Okay? And then based on your alignment is how much connection you're going to feel, how much love that you're going to feel. Just because you're committed to someone doesn't mean there's always love. Just because you're living with someone doesn't mean love is always present. So we're bringing back these pieces, separating love and relating, choosing to put yourself at the top of the pyramid and the relationship at the bottom. And that is how we can move forward with this passionate, deep relationship that we all desire. Okay, I feel like I've landed a lot. I really just want you to reflect on your relationship, reflect on the things that I've landed here today. Save this video, come back to it as often as you need to. Reach out to me in the DMs if you've got questions or if you want to go deeper. Feel free, if you do feel called to work with me, send me a DM about working with one-on-one. And I will see you tomorrow for day 2. Bye.